Well, we're knocking on the door of July. I'm Jim Phillips, and welcome to Townsquare Sunday. This is a program that we air weekly, of course. It's our public affairs program. I'd like to talk a little bit about a half-hour movie that is headed to the South Coast, and I believe has a message for young and old. It's called My Annie Hall. It was created by two young movie makers, Matt Starr and Ellie Sachs. The movie depicts scenes from the original Annie Hall film way back in the 70s, I believe.
Some of the best years.
Yeah, starring Woody Allen and Diane Keaton. Now, the stars of the new film, however, are not really known in Hollywood. Harry Miller and Shula Chernick are seniors. They are part of the membership, if you will, at the Lenox Hill Neighborhood House, which is a senior center in New York City. The film will be shown here on the South Coast, July 21st, at the Whaling Museum, sponsored by the Friends of the Dartmouth Elderly and the Dartmouth Rotary Club. Dr. Cynthia Marlin, who is past president of the Rotary, and Maria Connor of the Friends Group are here to speak with us about the film and the event. So welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cynthia, how did you learn about the film, first off? I mean, it's around now, but you heard about this months ago, right?
Correct. Yeah, and it's taken this long for us to, even though Maria and I are experts in event planning, to get all the parties set up and engage the Whaling Museum, which we're really thrilled that we're going to have it there in their very nice theater. But, about a year ago, I was watching Sunday Morning on Channel 4 CBS on a Sunday morning, and they had this little feature about these two young filmmakers, and I was really intrigued, so I pursued them. We looked on the internet. I had a little bit of help on that, and we tracked Matt Starr down, and we said, would you come to the South Coast? And he said, most certainly. So that's when I engaged Maria and said, do you think that this is a project we can collaborate on?
And Maria, you spend a lot of time at the Dartmouth Senior Center, and you are with the Friends Group. You kind of encourage these intergenerational activities. Matt Starr and Ellie Sachs are young people. They were in their 20s when they started this project. They enlisted the help of older people to kind of make this happen, to create scenes from the original Annie Hall movie. You may not have done this quite this elaborate, but intergenerational things is what you want to see, isn't it?
Well, the Dartmouth Friends of the Elderly, one of the issues that we considered very important, it is the interaction between older generation and the young generation. We've spent a lot of time in programs that brings that gap together and a little bit narrower. To me, this program was just perfect. There you are remaking a movie with elderly people who's going to express a little bit different, and yet the substance going to be there when it comes to communications. It's been our goal always to bring generations together.
And this, in some ways, does that. Cynthia, what is it about this film that makes it special for you? You've seen it now. You saw the clip initially. You've seen the film. What makes it special for you?
I think they're just bringing in a lot of elements of filmmaking. I think it's so exciting that these young filmmakers sought after some seniors to do this film. It was actually kind of cool because it was problem solving. They had this idea of working with elders, and they really pulled it all together. And, these days you got to think outside the box. But we also have to step back and think about our communities. And our communities include the elders. So it's a conversation between the elders and young filmmakers, which I think is tremendous.
And initially they were going to shoot this on their cell phones, which is kind of incredible.
Right.
Kind of a low-budget operation.
Very, very.
But then they realized they had a couple of actors in Harry and Shula who kind of liked this and were adaptable and could perform a little bit, and some other people were brought in, I'm sure from the senior center, to help with that.
Yeah.
And before you know it, they said, we gotta upgrade this a little bit. Have you talked to them about that?
Yes, yeah, and I think in fact they went to quite a few different senior centers. I could be wrong, but maybe close to 10 senior centers before they finally found this one community center that was very different. And in some ways, I think that it's kind of the same model that we have in Dartmouth, where we're really trying to serve the needs of a lot of seniors in the spectrum of the baby boomers right up to the elders, the elders. And it's a new situation. So here again, you got to think differently about how you approach some of these subjects. And it's a great model for projects at the senior center. And I think that, don't you think, Maria, that there's a lot of new programs that involve younger people?
And rightfully so. We should all be in it to get that gap smaller and smaller. And especially the Dartmouth Senior Center, I think we work very hard doing that. Programs are guided through that end. The Dartmouth Friends of the Elderly, we've been promoting this since our existence. And every time there's a project like this, it's just a perfect picture to bring that to the community.
Maria, I know that seniors will come. I'm sure you'll have a large contingent there to see this film. Would you encourage young people? I'm sure you would encourage young people.
Oh, definitely. We want to make sure, and we're positive, that a lot of moms are bringing daughters, dads are bringing sons, young people who are interested in the new technology of filming, radio, cable TV. You will see some of those people there who will enjoy that afternoon quite well.
Dr. Marlin, why would you encourage your young people to see this film?
Here again, I just think it's an incredible project. We've actually invited some folks from the vocational school, Greater Bedford Vocational Technical High School, from Dartmouth High School, from Bristol Community College, and again, to start a conversation between generations. And I did want to mention, and I think that a lot of the town meeting members in Dartmouth do realize this, but there is a larger population of seniors in the town now than there are school children. And that has a huge impact on the way we think of things in the town of Dartmouth, in all different directions. And we're not going to get into it now, but Maria and I are working on a lot of other projects about the same kinds of issues. But this is what we're highlighting now.
And Cynthia, I understand that both filmmakers will be at the Whaling Museum as well. They have a story to tell for sure, and they're bringing along a guest.
Yes.
And that's going to be terrific, I'm sure.
Well, tell us about that.
The female character in the film is actually coming. She has relatives who live on the South Coast. She will be there. We have tickets saved for her for a front seat. And what we're going to do is we're going to show the compressed film, which is approximately 30 minutes long, and then there will be like a talk with the artists right after that. Kind of casual, relaxed. We'll ask for feedback from the audience. Is there anything they really want to know? Because maybe the two generations have different kinds of questions as to how to approach this conversation.
And I think
yes.
also will be very important that the press will be there. I'm sure they'll have also a lot of questions, not only of the directors and the actors, but also the people attending and what is their view about the whole program.
You're listening to Town Square Sunday. My guest is Dr. Cynthia Marlin, who is a member of the Rotary Club, the past president of Rotary Club. She's also the executive director of Dartmouth Community Television. Maria Connor is a member of the Friends of the Elderly in Dartmouth. Now, the message from my Annie Hall, as I see it, is the older and younger generations in making this film, working together, better understanding each other. I think the young man who helped put this film together saw how dementia was affecting his family, and said, gee, that's so sad. But then he figured out that if you talk about the classics, she could rattle it off and talk about it. We've all experienced that, I think, in our family. We've all seen that. We've all experienced it. Really, it's important, I think, for all of us to have these kinds of experiences, because we're better able, frankly, to relate to people in our own family and others in the community. Is there something important, something special about a relationship? You say you're trying to get that all the time in Dartmouth, about the intergenerational relationship. Why is that really important? I mean, I know younger people today, they've got a lot on their plates, whether it's working or college tuition or all of that, going to school if you're a high school senior graduating. But I personally think it's time to stop, and you have to make time to stop and smell the roses, to talk with people. We're always on our phones. This is an attempt to do something else.
If you can remember, quite a few years back, the family unit, it was a very close family unit. Grandma was there, grandpa was there, mom and dad, aunts, uncles. People are so busy today that we have to bring back some of that time again. It is important that we find families to get together again.
And that's kind of what intergenerational projects that you're working on do. They bring people together, younger people, older people, and there's a conversation that starts. Dr. Marlin, want to add to that? Why is it important to have these kinds of conversations?
The conversations are important, but then I think Maria and I have one topic that we definitely agree on, and that is service learning. So we do have at the Senior Center, we have a couple of groups that come in. Dartmouth High School comes in. They do a couple of projects, but they're like a one-shot deal kind of thing, and they have a Valentine's dance, and that's awesome. And then the vocational school gives us a whole lot back. They are involved in a lot of construction projects that Maria oversees. And then UMass Dartmouth is involved in bringing their nurses over to actually get real research with real seniors at the Senior Center, because otherwise that college is separated from the community at large. So it's a great way to start a conversation again. And it's not a one-way street. We kind of look at it in the context of, well, the seniors need us younger people. No, you know what? Sometimes the young people need the older people because they're the ones with the experience.
Yep. I mean, I think I can't tell you how many times older people come to the aid of younger people, really, and give us some sound advice, sound suggestions, help us with our planning. There's a wealth of knowledge out there that older folks can share with young people, and we shouldn't forget it. We shouldn't forget it. This kind of thinking should be part of, I think, every senior center, every place where seniors go and gather.
And if you sat back yourself and you watch some of these programs going on, that interaction is priceless. As you said, and rightfully so, not only the seniors are getting something out of this, but so is the young people.
Yep. Sure. Okay, there's a charge to see this film. It's a $20 admission.
Yes.
The charge basically pays for expenses. I mean, the Whaling Museum is opening their doors.
Yes.
And all of that. So
right, and there's the film, there's the discussion with the producers, which will be interesting but not very long, and then we're going to have just a informal tea after that with tea and cookies, so that you'll be able to, see more of the Whaling Museum, and that'll be kind of fun. So, very relaxing.
It'll be a small reception where everyone can relax and be themselves.
How can people get tickets to this event?
So, one way that I know a lot of the young people will go is to go on DartmouthRotary.com, And if they go onto that site, they'll be able to see a clip of the film, actually that's the Jane Pauley interview that was done. And then after that, they will. They could also call Maria. And what phone number should they call you at, Maria?
It's 508-9979401, I think. I'm not quite sure.
That's for the friends, right?
But they can
Right.
always call me, and I always have tickets available, which is 508-636-6453.
All right.
That I'm sure they'll get tickets that way.
So if you go to DartmouthRotary.com,
Yep.
you can see the clip of the film that was on CBS Sunday morning about a year ago that prompted these two ladies to get involved and try to make a presentation here about intergenerational projects, people working together, young and old. It's a terrific idea. And hopefully you'll get a big crowd.
We hope so. It's going to be great. And they are not coming to any other location in Massachusetts at this time. So this is going to be really exciting.
We're going to be the first.
Yeah.
My thanks to Dr. Cynthia Marlin, past president of the Rotary Club, and Maria Connor of the Friends of the Elderly in Dartmouth for bringing this film to the South Coast. It will be shown July 21st at the Whaling Museum. Time for that? What's the time?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. in the afternoon, with a discussion afterward by the filmmakers. Thanks for coming in, ladies. Don't go away. Townsquare Sunday returns in just one moment.